Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. This is George from Ireland. Well, it's happened. The Saudi Arabians have come out with their really lame-ass excuse, and it was trailed for a couple of days. I think it must be unique in these situations for someone to road test their excuse. Would that work for you, Trump administration? See how it plays in the media. So 18 days after the disappearance of Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi Arabian government has said, yes, they did kill him. But no, we didn't kill him. We tortured him first, then killed him. So that's all right then. Innocent as lambs. Okay, they claim there was a fight in the embassy. Would he really be fighting? Would he be attacking them, considering he was outnumbered 15-1? And they had a bone saw. So they murdered him. Whether that was their intention or not all along, I'm not quite sure. But even if they did torture him, not intending to kill him and ended up accidentally killing him, that is still murder. That's the best they can do. This is their genius plan. Now, even Trump isn't stupid enough to believe that. And that's really saying something. So the Saudis, did they underestimate the fallout consequent upon the murder of this Washington Post journalist? In some respects, yes. On the other hand, they correctly surmised that Donald Trump would take their side against that of an innocent victim. I mean, he has previous. That's what he always does. He will always bow the knee to the most savage tyrants, and he will always take the side to be against the side of the free press. He is an outspoken and avowed enemy of honest journalism, and that's what happened to Jamal Khashoggi. I think Khashoggi was foolhardy to go into that consulate because he would have a fairly good idea what would lay in store. How did he miscalculate so badly? He'd worked for the Saudi Arabian government for many years, only split with them about 3 years ago, so he knew what their modus operandi was, but that's that. But perhaps they've reached a new level of brazenness in that they're really able to do this, and they had the chutzpah to try and pin this one on the Iranians. So why on earth would anyone buy this preposterous story that it was in a fight he was accidentally killed? The Saudi Arabian government lied and lied and lied. They tell the most bare-faced, arrogant lies for 18 days before, how did we not notice? Yeah, accidentally, he didn't leave the consulate alive. How could we have got that wrong? Well, honest mistake, he died in the consulate. So they've got zero credibility left, having lied so blatantly for so long, and this is the best they can come up with. They make no attempt at plausible deniability, so they murdered him in the consulate. That is that. And I think they're clean away with it. They did it on their sovereign territory, diplomatic immunity. Presumably these guys did diplomatic immunity when they did it. Well, they're all back in Saudi Arabia now, so that is that. So they considered killing this journalist quite a high priority, someone who was no danger to anyone, who'd never harmed anybody. And they killed him because he told the truth. People do not get killed for telling lies. They only get killed for telling the truth, particularly there. Scare one, terrorize 1,000. That's the idea. They have frightened the life out of any journalist who would dare tell the plain truth. Well, it was a very sad day for press freedom, and the Committee to Protect Journalists will obviously be up in arms about that. But the Saudi Arabians may be correct in thinking that the American public has attention span of a month. A couple of weeks from now, the whole thing will be forgotten. It'll blow over. It'll go back to normal. And Trump has also cut himself off at the knees. Well, he never had any intention of responding on this one by saying, well, we don't want to upset the Saudis because they buy a lot of our stuff. So the Saudis know what to do. If we threaten not to buy American arms, then America will cave in because it's the mighty dollar. Well, that's what they care about. Now, there's been a lot of sanctimonious drivel from Democrats and a lot of Trump's enemies. And I, as someone who absolutely detests Donald Trump, I despise everything he stands for. He is vermin. But anyway, what he's doing is not new. This has always happened, and not just American foreign policy. Most governments do this. When faced with a choice between ethics and realpolitik, invariably realpolitik wins. It's just expedient to keep Saudi Arabia on side. However, what's different about this, I suppose, just how blatant it is. Now, Khashoggi, that's one person. What difference does that make in a planet of 7 billion? I know what you might be thinking. Moreover, there's this war in Yemen, and dozens of people get killed every day, mostly civilians, likewise in Syria, Iraq. Sometimes the Saudis involved, the Americans involved. So one more person doesn't make any moral difference. That's that. because they did it in their own territory, I'm not sure it's even against anybody else's law. In Saudi Arabia, well, it really is a case of l'état c'est moi. It's just countries run by royal fiat. There used to be some kind of consensus amongst the royal family, no longer. But there's been a lot of BS from MBS. Has he overreached himself? Has he gone too far? Possibly not, because there's not going to be that much of a fallout. A few people stay away from his financial affairs conference, Davos in the desert, wanted to turn Saudi Arabia into a financial services hub because there'll be no pesky regulations, no anti-laundering mechanism, nothing like that. Don't worry about that. No minimum wage has to be paid. You can put your filthy money in there. They don't mind. No income tax. If you want money, I suppose that's the way to do it. So they will get away with this, and that is the sad truth. That is the way of the world. So, Jamal Khashoggi, obviously I feel sorry for him, but he knew he was playing with fire by exposing the Saudi royal family. He obviously didn't deserve to die. The blame lies entirely on the heads of his murderers. Rogue killers. Remember when they tried out that ridiculous explanation? Who else could be in the Saudi consulate except Saudi diplomats? Who were these rogues? I mean, that was just so ridiculous that they had to fall back on this lie. Well, at least they're saying that we killed him. Because the Turkish staff were all suddenly given the day off right before Khashoggi came in. I wonder why that be. Get rid of any potential witnesses. So that's that. Jamal Khashoggi is dead. It has been confirmed, as we thought all along. And all the lies that were pumped out by the Saudi Arabian government to muddy the waters have been exposed to be bogus. Anyway, I'm absolutely not anti-Saudi Arabian. I don't want Saudi Arabian people to suffer. No one should be mistreated on account of their nationality. But I'd like them to have a better, more humane government. That wouldn't be hard. Almost anything would be a step in the right direction. So you see, you can judge a man by the company he keeps, who Trump really admires. And he likes tyrants because they can get results. They've got no laws to worry about, no constituencies, no legislatures to get things voted through. That's who he admires. And it is nauseating the Republican Party will take his side. Whatever happened to spreading press freedom, and freedom in general. George W. Bush, that rhetoric, you might say it was hollow, and he sometimes coddled dictators, and yes, that's true, but he did sometimes advance freedom. I don't think Trump ever does. So it's emetic, it's very much retrograde. And the Republican Party doesn't seem to give a damn, are completely under his spell. Surprising he's not doing better in the midterms, given how well the economy's doing. But there we are. These are dark times we're living through. It's very dispiriting, this side of the times, that such a blatant murder is something that people get away with scot-free.